Good afternoon, everyone. It's Sheila from Boho Daydreams. Welcome to my channel. The sun's shining and the weather is gorgeous. There's some clouds in the sky. We had an amazing thunderstorm yesterday with some lightning. Thankfully, there were no fires started, but it was very amazing. I love thunderstorms. Anyway, I'm here with a bit of a journal share of a journal that I created while I was at Gayle Agostinelis craft retreat. And I was so nervous to go because I've never made anything. And there's this beautiful lady, crafter, amazing crafter. She's so talented. Her name is Hunter Spaid, and she was there also. And she knew I was nervous, so she had planned on helping me start and make a journal while I was there. And so she had made the cover. And it's paper on cardstock, and she had sewn it all nicely. And then she had made some papers making signatures, and then she gave me the cover and the signatures, and she taught me how to actually stitch them in. And she taught me pretty well because those stitches are pretty straight. And so she taught me how to do that, and then she said to me, go ahead now and finish decorating the journal. And that sounded like a lot of fun, except because I had been so nervous, I hadn't really brought along anything too appropriate to make a journal. I had just brought anything and everything that I could imagine to bring along, just in case I was going to be playing with alcohol inks or distress inks or, I don't know, beads, things like that. So I didn't really bring along a lot of paper ideas to do a journal, so I used what I had. So we're not going to spend too much time on it, but I'm just going to show you what I actually did. So I did some decoupaging and stitching. I did decoupaging and stitching, and I used my textiles because I had brought some of those along. And I love this tag. I really love this tag. I stitched around it and distressed it a bit, and then I found this really delicate lace that I had with me, and I glued it on and just attached a little bit of a flat back jewel and tied it off with a bit of sari ribbon. Ooh, I've got curtains flying. And that was it. And I think it just turned out so nice. It turned out so lovely. And also I had some journaling cards with me. And so I just stitched around that. And these are really cool. I found a couple of boxes of postcards. And these aren't vintage or anything. You can just probably find them almost anywhere. And I don't know what they're called right now. But if anybody's interested, I can get the name for you. But yeah, they were all botanical ones, and I think I've used one or two in here. Anyway, I just kind of distressed around that, sewed it, and stuck it in there. So I did some decoupage, and then I also did some muslin with some buttons, because I brought buttons and I brought beads, and I also had brought a bit of washi tape. And so I used those, and that's kind of predominantly what you will see in this journal, because those are the kinds of things that I brought more of. I added an envelope. I love making envelopes. And I just added some of my trim, some muslin, and some of my sari silk, and a little bit of lace. And just kept it kind of coordinated. And then in the corner I added beads. I added just seed beads. I just glued those on. And I embossed it, and I stamped it, and then on the back I just did basically the same thing. I did a little bit of a fabric collage with laces and some of my sari silk here too, and then I added some of the beads, some gold flake, and then I used a button that I found as the closure for the envelope, so it can be closed off like that. And it worked pretty well. It stays closed well. And then I thought, well, I would I was just, you know how I always see people using their glimmer mists and their sprays. Well, I tried that, and it didn't work all that great for me. I have to work on that technique. So I didn't do much with this page. I just used a piece of paper, kind of used an edge punch, a little bit of muslin, and some more of the seed beads, and just kind of left it pretty plain. And here too, this is just a pocket. And I did the same thing here. And then there's just a little bit of a booklet that I created. It has some pockets in it, and I just tuck it into the pocket here. And then I found that I had brought along some of those Tim Holtz words phrases, and I just added that up there. I inked it up a bit and then stuck it to the top, and it says, "Live your dream with passion." That's so fun. And I didn't decorate every page, but I did decorate a lot of them. And this also is an envelope that I made. Oops. It's also an envelope that I made. And I just stamped on it, distressed it, added some gold leaf. And again, sticking with the same colors, I just made a bit of a textile collage there. And then on the back I did the same. I just used a bunch of different laces and some fabrics and just left it very simple. And I think it actually does tuck into there if I wanted to. But I don't remember. And then on the edge you'll see more beads, some muslin beads, and just a little bit of a tab I made with some of the lace, some of the fabric lace that I had brought along. And then I just used a little piece of trim there on the other side. This is just a journaling card that I made. And then on the bottom here, I layered several pieces. There's turquoise lace, and there's white lace, and there's some sari silk. And then this is some trim that I have in the trim package. But I just cut out one of the flowers from there and just stuck it on. And it looks really cute. And then I just did a little bit of a flip out here, trying to kind of change things up a little bit. I'm not very creative yet. And this was some lace that I had brought along. And then I just sewed on some buttons and sewed on a piece of trim from one of the trims that I had. It was just kind of a garbagey piece of leftover. And so I just glued it on. And it looks really cute. And I just cut out a pocket from some of the paper that I had and stenciled up top "Dream," and just made a little tag. I sewed it and inked it up, and then I have it's an embossing punch, but it's one of the legal punches, and I just used that on there. Inked it a little bit, kind of stuck with the same colors, a little bit of lace, and then seed beads. And the same down here. I just used some sari ribbon, some fibers, a button, and then some of the trim that I had in one of my trim packages. And I like this. This is a parchment paper that I just cut out and sewed around and inked up a bit, and then fussy cut out another piece from another, I don't even know where that came from, and just sewed around it, sewed it on, so it's actually a pocket, a little bit of a pocket there. And then this is also a pocket. That's just a journaling tag that I made, and I sewed, there's just two different pieces of paper, and I just sewed them together. But I'm learning to use the different stitches on my sewing machine, so I was pretty proud of that. And then there's another little textile collage. And I just did a little bit of stenciling. And this is a pocket. And then I made a belly band here. with just some old music paper. And I tore it and I stamped it up a bit on the sides and glued it on. And here also is another pocket with a bit of old lace. And then again, a tag that I used, a button, some lace, and then my seed beads around the top. And again, it was to use my sewing machine and become familiar with the different stitches. And here too, I just layered on some old music paper, so it's actually little pockets right here too. Oops. Well, you can glue that lace on very well. And I think that this is also a pocket here, but I don't know. I'm not going to try it on camera. And this is just a piece of, I don't know, it's like a fabric or like a paper ribbon. I just glued that on. Sewed around it and glued it on. Added a bit of washi tape up there and says, start doing things you love. And I just added a bit of washi tape there too. And I made a pocket. And I kind of sewed it all up. Sewed it on, sewed it up. And I just attached it with some washi tape down here. And it's so pretty and sparkly. I don't know if you can see it. It sparkles so pretty. And again, it's just a pocket and a pocket with some lace. Again, the same sari that you've been seeing throughout this journal, and some seed beads. Now this is an envelope that's too big for everything, so I just kind of tuck it off to the side. But I love it. I love it. It's big, and it's got a matching coordinated stamp, and it's got the gold flake, a little bit of embossing, and then some stamping. But I love this. Look at that. See those? I used some of those jewels that I got at the thrift store, and they just sparkle so pretty. And here too, I used, I don't know if you can see that, this nice big jewel, and I just kind of stuck it in the middle of that lace collage. A little bit of paper too, and the sari. And then on the back, I did the same thing. Such a big envelope. I thought it can handle it. Plus, it's just for me. And I stitched on some sari there, and here too. I don't know if you can see it. If I was maybe too close. But I used some of those little jewels. And it just turned out so pretty. I'm so happy with that. So happy with those. And I did a little bit of decoupage. And this time I used a glue stick instead of using Mod Podge. I used a glue stick, and I really like the way that looks. But then I was trying to distress it afterwards, and I didn't like the way it looked up here, so I had to add the old piece of lace with a button and some sari. I just didn't like it. Here's a journaling card with some sari and some buttons sewed onto it, and a sari pocket that I made, and just added some lace and a button. It was a button that had the big button loop on the back, and I just cut it off and glued it on. And just used some of the trim that I had in one of my trim packages. Oh, this is so pretty. I like this. I love that delicate color. And so there's some lace with some I don't even know if that's paper underneath, but just different textiles there. Oh, yeah, and on this side too. I says, I just want to make nice things. So that's my goal. That's my goal. I just want to make nice things. And here is an envelope that I made from piano paper. So I have a lot of rolls of piano paper, and I really don't know what to do with it. It's very fragile, so I had to use some washi tape for that, and I, added a little bit of a textile there. But it is very, very fragile. It's very, very old, this one. So I have to find a roll that's not quite as fragile, not quite as old. Oops, we'll leave that. And then I made a pocket here out of, that must be tissue paper that I had. And there's another journaling card. And again, I'm using all the different stitches on my sewing machine. And so the stitch again is a little bit different. And I stamped here, and I didn't like it because, well, I shouldn't have stamped, but it's a learning experience for me. And I had to cover it up with something, so I used more of that paper. I like that paper. There's just a little pocket with a few tags that are not finished. And here is another pocket, and I just stenciled on Inspire and used a few different little pieces of paper, excuse me, and cut out one of the flowers in the corded lace and glued it on. And I just glued on some sari trim. And here is just a little bit of a textile collage with paper, sari, and buttons and lace. Keep some room in your heart for the unimaginable. How nice. And I used some of my trim there. And I made a belly band with some lace, paper, and the sari. And here's another one of those journaling cards. And they're just so pretty. Just so pretty. I just kind of stitched around that. And that is it for now. That is it. But I'm really happy with how it's turned out so far. Any feedback is welcome. Enjoy the rest of your day. Thank you for watching. Bye-bye.